Hello and welcome to another episode of AMOI Unplugged, Exploring Diversity, a program that focuses on the efforts and milestones geared towards the diversification of our nation's economy. I am Chioma Ikejiani. Our focus today is on the Federal Ministry of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs under the astute leadership of His Excellency Senator George Akume. Prior to his ministerial appointment in 2019, he was a former governor of Benue State and then a senator representing Benue Northeast. You don't want to miss my exclusive interview with His Excellency Senator George Akume. We'll be right back with AMOI Unplugged, Exploring Diversity. Welcome to AMOI Unplugged, Exploring Diversity. You know, I remember when I walked into your home and I saw the pictures and it shows your journey. And I stood back and I said to myself, how did this happen? You know, and then I said, the first question that I'm going to ask you is, who is George Akume before he became the governor, before he became the senator? Take me back to Benue. Where do you come from? I know it's Benue, but where? How did this journey start?
Thank you very much. I'm very proud of my background. I was born in Taka local government of Benue State. And I wasn't born into wealth and privilege. My parents were very humble people, farmers. I went to school like any other young man, any other little kids in the village, from the primary school in the local place. And then, of course, government secondary school at Tutukwo, St. Louis, HSC, and then University of Ibadan, and other things followed. My stay in the service, where I retired as a permanent secretary, having worked as sole administrators of 2 local governments in Benue State. And that was when I then tried. When I retired, I tried my hands at politics. My wife supported me fully with prayers, and so I said, you could do it. And I know of some of my colleagues who said, yeah, you are not cut out for this. But most of them believed in me, and they actually supported me.
So you now became governor, 2 terms, and then you became a senator.
3 terms.
How would you describe the experience so far from 2019 to 2021 as a minister of special duties and intergovernmental affairs? And what does that mean for those that are watching and are not, they don't even know what this ministry is about?
Any assignment given to you, whether it is at the national level or at the state level, throws up a lot of challenges. And the same thing with this particular portfolio. This ministry started as a department before. It later became a ministry. It was later scrapped. It came back to life. It was scrapped again. And I resurrected under the president in 2019. And each ministry has its own mandate. Our own mandate is also rich and engaging. One of the mandates is managing key initiatives, presidential initiatives, as it were. And these initiatives are many. They're strategic and as designated by the president himself. And then you are coordinating and monitoring the zonal and constituency projects, zonal intervention and constituency projects. You are also supposed to coordinate ministerial and interagency functions, as it were. You are also to liaise with the private sector in a deliberate attempt to also create jobs for millions of Nigerian youths. You are also expected to interact with the states and the local government. And this is where intergovernmental relations also comes in. So it is so engaging. And when we came in, it's like we were starting from the scratch, as it were. And in a situation where the takeoff is a little bit shaky because of inadequacy of resources. But we eventually took off and proceeded to do a retreat in Lagos to map out the roadmap that we determine the content or what we're expected to do and how to give effect to it.
And what was your takeaway from that retreat? In looking at the stakeholders that were there from your ministries, what was the takeaway?
When we returned to Abuja, we now had to begin the process of implementation of this plan. It was on this basis again that we had this meeting of ministers. First 5 days, 16 ministries were involved, plus other agencies and departments. And in drawing up what was later called, through a technical committee, the Presidential Poverty Reduction Initiative, a huge initiative, which we eventually presented to the Federal Executive Council. Wow. And this Presidential Poverty Reduction Initiative was a novelty. It seeks to create industries in the local governments, one per local government, using economic corridors. It was accepted anyway. It's part of the National Poverty Reduction and Growth Strategy. So, for example, if in Jigawa State you have a local government or 2 local governments that are producing maximally Benny seed, which is sesame seed, Benny seed, then you could decide to establish a huge facility in one of the local governments, or if they decide you can have a facility embracing the 2 local governments, which will now be cleaning the Benny seeds. And when you clean, the value of the Benny seed is enhanced. And number 2, you could go to the next stage, which is dehulling. And when you dehull, it's ready for export. And this is this dehulled Benny seed that is used to garnish bread and so on and so forth. The market is immense. Or oranges, for example, you go to Makurdi Lemengi, Benue State. It's home of fruits, oranges, everything that is so exotic in the agricultural sector. And you'll be earning foreign exchange as much as possible. And of course,
and job creation.
Job creation, which is
youth.
the main thing. Job creation. And then you are trying to do what? To say goodbye to poverty, or reducing poverty to the barest minimum.
We'll be right back with AMOI Unplugged, exploring diversity. You know, it's interesting when you talk about poverty, because when you talk about poverty, what comes to my mind is something that is very dear to the president.
Very dear.
And when he, in his inauguration Democracy Day speech, he talked about lifting 100 million people out of poverty. And I know that's one of the special projects or special duties that is within your vicinity. What is the government doing in terms of your ministry, in terms of trying to actualize the dream that the president wants to take off while he's in his administration?
Well, there is this omnibus approach to job creation. Each ministry has been challenged to take measures to bring to bear certain policy measures that will generate employment opportunities for the young people. And This doesn't exclude the fact that there are special interventions and initiatives of the government headed by Mr. President to generate this employment. You have the social investment programs where you have direct cash transfer to the poorest of the poor in power, which is picking young people who have no jobs and they're placed on 30,000, which is the minimum wage per month. This is what they're getting per month. And then the youth program, which is the youth investment program, which is under the Ministry of Labor, where 75 billion has been put down and more is being added to that. So if you look at the Anchor Borrower Scheme, which is another initiative of Mr. President, it creates so many opportunities for the young people and women in agricultural sector. The access to facility is not encumbered like what you go through in a conventional bank. And again, it's one interesting thing with this COVID. So much has been happening. Some people they have access to money to cushion the effects of COVID, 500,000. And for businesses that employ up to, is it 10 or 20 people, there is also a facility that they draw from to cushion the effect so that they don't send away people out into the unemployment market. They continue to maintain them. And let me also use this forum to appeal to people to take the jab because it's very essential. Some are running away
There's
from
some
it.
people are still afraid of the vaccine. Are you vaccinated?
Fully.
You have your 2 shots?
Yes, maybe I'm waiting for the booster.
When we look at your ministry, you have some agencies that are under you. There is the Lottery Commission and the Lottery Trust Fund. Can you tell me a little bit about that and what are some of the things that we could be excited about? What are some of the things under your leadership that you would like to see happen?
Well, we have some agencies under the supervision of this ministry, Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs. We have the National Lottery Regulatory Commission, the Trust Fund, and National Merit Award Committee, and of course the National Honors, Presidential National Honors.
Of which I will
Committee.
get one day.
I think you merit it. The lottery is a major source of income in many parts of the world, and since this commission was created by law, 2005, attempts have been made to enhance its performance and operations without success, and without the central monitoring platform, it's difficult to realistically assess what is being generated by the major players. But fortunately, we are on the way now to getting it right. And the national game hopefully will also be launched. So this is a combined effort to generate a lot more money. What the Trust Fund is doing is living up to its mandate of creating good causes as much as possible in the areas of sporting facilities, and to also support education by provision of amenities and also rural infrastructure, health facilities as the case may be. And so they're doing quite a lot, over 3,000 projects they have been able to execute. So they're doing well. And the National Honors Committee has been assembled. The President has approved the reconstitution.
Are we going to have an award this year, before the end of the year, or next year?
They're going to have that. Just to recognize people for the good they have done to this country. Recognize their contributions. And this powers so many people to perform even better.
What do you think looking ahead of the Buhari administration's second tenure, because we're coming into the end of the tenure. What message would you like to convey to Nigerians on what they should expect from this government in the next 18 to 19 months?
When we came in 2015, the economy had already been run down. It was in recession. So the president, through superb economic management, pulled us out of this malaise and started growing the economy. We are still growing the economy. And if you look at some of the measures that have also been taken, whether it's the ease of doing business or special interventions that have brought a lot of difference in the infrastructure architecture of this country, and you look at the approach, the management of security, Mr. President has been living up to the billings, up to the promises he made to the people of this country. He cannot create a paradise here on earth, but he has done so much to lift Nigerians out of very, very dangerous situations. And number two, deepening democracy. You can't see indiscriminate removal of governors because they are from the opposition parties or because they appear recalcitrant to the government at the center. That is why I said we are also deepening our democracy. As we grow the economy, we are also deepening our democracy. These issues of autonomy for local government, autonomy for the legislature, autonomy for the judiciary, these are issues that are critical to the defense of democracy. And this government is at the forefront of promoting this. So Nigerians must expect that President Buhari will hand over a very united nation to Nigerians in 2023.
I'm going to ask you one more question about the youth, because I see them around you. And I think that there is something there when someone that has been in this industry for as long as you have, and you have the youth that are looking at you, mentorship, I think it's really important to speak to them about being a minister. And there's some of them that, as I said, there's a sense of hopelessness. And how do you address the youth of today in today's Nigeria? And you're trying to make Nigeria a better place. I'd like you to address that, because there's so many of them that will come to you and seek your guidance in whatever endeavor they're doing.
The youths are a very important component of the population of any nation. And it explains why a lot of resources are put in the educational sector to train the youth. You train the youth, then you are training the nation. Youths are vibrant, they are creative, they are loyal, they are patriotic, they are hardworking. All they need is for you to unlock their talents so that they can function maximally in the best interest of the country. And that is why these initiatives are geared towards protecting the interest of the youth. We keep appealing to youth to take advantage of these initiatives and programs.
But a lot of youths feel that they cannot participate in government. What do you feel about that? They feel as if they're not being given an opportunity to come to the table.
If you look at what is happening in the APC too, many youths, young people are coming up. They will go to my state. The party chairman is a young man.
He is. I met him.
Yes.
He's a.
So many of them
yes.
are young people, organizing secretary, legal advisors, press secretary, youth work, of course, youth general, and so many. And women are all involved in this. And you look at those who will be going to the House of Assembly. We believe youths will also be expected to participate more meaningfully and purposefully too as we move towards 2023. Time will come when we have Nigerian youth taking over. Actually, everywhere Nigeria will be.
You know, it's interesting. As I'm watching you, I'm also watching a picture with you having a handshake with the president. When I look at that picture, I see respect. I see admiration. What is the one thing, because you say a lot that, oh, you don't want to disappoint the president. At the end, what is the one thing that you feel you want to accomplish with this ministry because of the confidence that the president has bestowed by giving you this opportunity? What are some of the things that you would like to achieve? Short, medium, long-term plans for your ministry.
Yeah, each ministry has its own mandate, and I think the best thing to do is to ensure that the mandate is implemented to the best of our ability within the context of the resources available. And that is why I mentioned the issue of a platform to enhance the performance of lottery operations, which we do what generate more revenue for government, to enable the government to develop more infrastructure, to enable the government to provide more facilities, whether it is in the area of education, in the area of health, in the area of youth development, whatever. That is what the president would like to have on his table. And that is why we also said, if at the end of the day, these industries are located in the local government, they will go a long way in helping our farmers and our youth to improve their quality of life. These are the issues that are very germane and I believe are dear to Mr. President, lifting Nigerians out of poverty, protecting them, as it were.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.